So my story was when I was 11 years old, and it's the day I found out my dad died. Obviously, it's like a really big moment in my life. Like, it's probably the most significant singular day that I can say, like, this thing happened. But yeah, so I was in school. It was like a normal day. I was in like year 7, so I was just, like, messing around doing like woodwork. And at around 11 to 12, I think it was a solar eclipse, and everything went dark, and everybody was just, like, shouting and messing about. Anyway, later that day I came home and I was going to be having a sleepover with 2 of my friends. So again, for me, this had been a completely normal day. We'd had a fun day at school, we were giddy with the eclipse. I came home and I was going to be having a sleepover. And in the middle of us playing in my bedroom, my uncle came over, which was really weird because he lived far away and we didn't really know why. And I heard him come downstairs and there was a bit of commotion, and I heard him talking to my mum for a while. And my mum shouted me downstairs, and again I was completely giddy with the sleepover. But I came downstairs and I could tell something was wrong. My dad had been ill in hospital for a few months, so he'd had kidney failure his whole life, so he'd been in and out of hospital his whole life, so I wasn't too concerned. But I came downstairs and I saw my uncle, and he was fully crying. Like, he was an adult, grown man, and he was like red in the face, fully crying. He was the one that told me. My mum was like next to me and just said, "Grace, I couldn't tell us in person. It happened at 12, half 11 this morning, but your dad's died." And yeah, I would really say it's nothing like you see in the movies. I didn't cry. I had basically no reaction. All I felt was just overwhelmed, really. After he told me, I don't really remember what he said to me. I think I was just numb. And I went back upstairs, and realistically, my mum should have told my friends to leave, and I could have had a night, but I just carried on. I went back upstairs, I told them what happened, and I just carried on. And that's basically how it went for the next year. I just carried on. I didn't tell any of my teachers, none of my friends knew. I just carried on, and that's basically how it went.
And cut. Good. So now I'm going to ask you your evaluation question. So can you please evaluate the progress you have made during this module, highlighting areas where you've learnt about the technique of acting to camera, and also any challenges you may have faced, and you can refer to notes when answering.
So I would say that I've made a lot of progress over the module, like from the start to now, not just in like performance elements but also the technical elements. And the technical elements were massively improved with the work with Ben that we did on like the shot types and everything like that. It made it so much clearer right at the start of the module, like what we needed to expect on a different element to something not performing, like behind the scenes, which I thought was really interesting to learn about. And also when we came in the groups of 4, and we all had to work like the boom, the camera, and then like evaluate other people's performances, that was really helpful for the technical elements as well. For performance, I thought right at the start, when we broke down the barriers with each other, when we became really vulnerable in our storytelling, it's not what I expected to do right off the bat, but it made us so much more comfortable with each other, and it just really helped to understand each other and kind of like get to know each other in a strange way, and like, it definitely made us all so much closer. And that also came into play when we did improvisation, and like we were so relaxed with each other and we could play with each other, and it was that whole thing of being able to be yourself and be comfortable in yourself, which is so important for camera. So yeah, that was really helpful. And then regarding Grace's story, I really enjoyed the hot seating that we did, because became Grace for like 5 minutes while she was still in the room. It was really, really interesting to do. I was like, oh, I'm going to offend her, but it worked really well. And I had like people compliment what I did, and I was like, okay, like I'm along the right lines. I'm going to be able, like, it gave me confidence in what I was doing. But yeah, that was really helpful. And it also helped me understand her in a new level. Like, you became so like understanding of someone. You were watching everything of what they did. I've never done that with a person before, but it was really helpful. I found it difficult, but I got it straight. Like, I got in later on, was blocking out the camera and learning how to not focus on my appearance, not focus on stuff like that, and just do a story and pretend that's not there. And that was hard to do at the start, but it definitely helped me storytell and not focusing on my appearance, not focusing on the camera. I found the independent study really helpful because it allowed me to focus on myself and my performance in my own space without any distractions, but also apply feedback that we had from you in the previous session. So I would do that by like recording myself. I also like to record on voice memos, like my lines, and I play them back to myself. That's how I learn lines, but it was quite helpful to do that because then it became my story. From listening to myself say it, it became my story, which was really helpful to do. Other challenges I thought I faced was, as I said about the adapting to camera, but it was also still being in character until you say cut. That trying to stay in character for that length of time, that was something that I had to overcome. And also not copying Grace, but making it authentic to her while still being me and having the technical elements. It was trying to find that balance, but